On Saturday, the International Conference for the Normalization of U.S.-Cuba relations began in New York amid the intensification of the hostile policy of the U.S. against the Caribbean country. The forum reiterates its demand for an end to the long-standing economic, commercial, and financial blockade imposed on the Cuban people, and also calls for the exclusion of the island from Washington's unilateral lists of alleged state sponsor of terrorism. A final declaration is expected with the objectives of the Solidarity movement in the immediate future, taking into account that there is a two-way blockade by the United States that dramatically affects the lives of tens of millions of Cubans and U.S. residents. And in an exclusive interview with teleSUR social activist Ike Nahum spoke about the work of the movement to support Cuba from within the United States.
Every year there is a conference that the United Nations sponsored for the CSW, Commission for the Status of Women. And so the Cubans are able to come in, and the previous administrations that have carried out the economic pressures and blockade against Cuba in the past, including the Trump administration with Rubio, are not able to keep them out. So we organize the solidarity movement in the United States, Canada, and increasingly across the hemisphere. We organize against the blockade, and we have, as the Cubans, since they're able to come to New York City legally, to address and speak for themselves and for Cuba at our conference. So we have today hundreds of people that are physically attending, and then many hundreds online that are working out and uniting to fight against the blockade and join the rest of the world. A majority of countries at the United Nations vote against the U.S. blockade, and it really is more of a political and economic war. But our movement is inside the United States, inside the belly of the beast, as they say. So our movement is organized a little differently from other countries, but we feel that those countries that vote in the United Nations every year, year after year, beautiful words at the United Nations, because I go watch them, in solidarity with Cuba. They need to also unite to enforce politically and materially, if necessary, what's voted on overwhelmingly by the United Nations every year. And we have, our movement is trying to link up with that sentiment to organize with other forces in other countries to pressure their governments to do the right thing and help Cuba in its time.